考定之道皆英语之事，大学习之意皆文化之国。接受 Q&A， 嘉盛家长会。
Just Show Q&A. My name is Jonathan Dotson. My friend Susan has asked me to come in and talk to you. I'm going to be sharing some of my experiences from the last 10 years or so here in China. But before I go on, I want to talk about some things that I think are important. Some things that we can do, some things that we can't do. One thing that I think is very common, people want an easy answer. There isn't an easy answer. There can't be because different people think in different ways. Some people need music, some people need pictures. Everything's different. So what can you do? You have to look for some balance in what you're doing. If you try to go too far one way, too far the other way, you may not be getting what you need. Okay, with that in mind, let's look and see. 10 years ago, what was it like? Well, things were a little different then. One of the big differences was we didn't have so many things to choose from. Just a few videos, some very simple exercises, a lot of repetition, a lot of close type problems. Today it's much easier to get movies and recordings, download whatever you want off of the internet. There's a lot more available. Now, that may make your choices seem a little confusing. You have to try different things. It's just like food. Not everybody likes the same dish. It doesn't mean it's a bad dish. It just means it's not the one you like. Okay, so what really changed? I talked about those strict clothes, those exercises and stuff. Well, in the last 10 years, we've started to look more at communication. The basic idea of communication is over here, you've got an idea in your mind. Over here, there's someone else. You want to get that idea from your mind to their mind as clearly as you can. If it was something like television, you'd be sending a signal out and you want a good signal on the other end. If there's something in the middle, it confuses you. We can call that signal distortion. Well, what's signal distortion in our communication? Really, part of it is you have an idea in your mind, you want it in the other person's mind, but what if you're from different cultures? Do you really see things the same way? Think about the idea of beautiful. It's a common word. If you've studied English just a little, maybe you know it. You can look it up in the dictionary. But when you really go to look at it, is your idea of beautiful the same as my idea? We think so, but probably not. In China, people worry about too much sun on their skin. In the US, people go out to get more sun on their skin. But how can both things be beautiful? Well, they can because the idea is similar. What is attractive to a person? The difference is that what's attractive to one person is not attractive to another person. This is where our dictionaries actually confuse people, because it looks like you can just take this word, put it into a close exercise. This is this. No, they're related, but they are not the same. That's why as we've gotten more skilled with our materials, we've started to look. Who is the speaker? Who's the audience? How do you communicate those ideas clearly without something interfering with the signal? Okay, so what does this mean for you really when it comes to your education? Well, that's changed too, because there was a time everything was about the test. Everything taught you how to get half a point higher on the test. That's great if you're taking a test. It's not so good if you're in New York and you need to take a taxi. The taxi doesn't give you an A, B, C, D choice. Now we're starting to see more material that tries to explain how to really use the language. Again, thinking about the people involved, thinking about communication. That's much more important than the old, how do you pick A, B, C, or D? Okay, the problem is that A, B, C, D is easy. You can learn tricks for that. But to communicate with a person, you've really got to think, what's my idea? How do I get that idea to the other person? And, oh yeah, who is that other person? You're going to find that just like maybe you want to learn English to travel and to communicate with people from all around the world, well, maybe the person you're talking to is a native speaker, or maybe they're somebody who also learned English to talk to you. Right now, I teach foreign students from all over the world, and only a few of them are native speakers. You've got to keep these things in mind. When I first started teaching, I was teaching Chinese students, and these were young university students. Many of them, I was their first contact with a foreigner. Today, that's one of the things that's changed. We're seeing foreign teachers from the first day a student walks into class in kindergarten. By the time they've gotten to the university, they've had many contacts with foreigners. That is one of the important points here, that as we've seen our needs shift, things have moved from this focus on test results towards a focus on communication. With students starting earlier, they're able to do more to actually immerse themselves in the language, to build up more real communication skills, and that's the skill that we're going to need to build for the future. It's not just about, can you get a couple points better on CET 4? Will the school let you take CET 6? Like I said, those things don't always get you a taxi in New York. But as life has changed, people have started to travel more students are going overseas to study, more people want to go outside of China for tourism. Those things aren't on CET. You've got to build up real communication skills. That means that you have to not only have the building blocks of vocabulary and grammar, but you've got to have the practice in getting that thought out of your mind and into the mind of your audience. All right, that sets the stage. We've looked at what the market used to be, that it was test-driven, that it was about scores. We've looked at how the market is changing because our needs are changing. But how are we going to get specific answers to this problem? That's a question for a different episode. Hope you'll join us the next time on Just Show Q&A.
到此一从千里目， 谁知才上一层楼。